So you guys voted, and by a landslide, it was The Incredibles. Okay, as we know, there were two movies. One in 2004, the second one came out in 2018, both directed by Brad Bird, featuring the voices of Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, and Samuel L. Jackson. One of my favorite superhero movies that is not derived from a comic book, and this will be a lot of fun to draw. So while I'm drawing this today, I am going to let you guys know some facts you may or may not know about The Incredibles, but I do want to thank right off the top the contributors to this video, those who posted it in the Discord, all the different facts that I'm going to mention in this video. Quickly shouting out David Artworks the First, Kiwi Comic Art YT, The Art of Sapien, Elias, Pugmug Jug, Waluigi Art, R406, Chase Z, Zemboy, Hopeless Gamer, New Jork, C Metka 1, Mr. Shiro 21. Thank you guys for your contribution. So while I was drawing this, because of my limited amount of time, sometimes what I like to do is to time myself. It just helps push me a little bit more, tries to keep my time under control, and helps me get done this piece a lot faster. And even though it's under a timer, usually I find that even though I'm speeding up a little bit, the quality doesn't go down that much as if I took my time with everything. So I thought adding a little bit of timer for every character drawn today, because I'm going to be drawing a lot, it helps me stay on track and hopefully a better video for you guys. So while I was drawing this, because of my limited amount of time, sometimes what I like to do is to time myself. It just helps push me a little bit more, tries to keep my time under control, and helps me get done this piece a lot faster. And even though it's under a timer, usually I find that even though I'm speeding up a little bit, the quality doesn't go down that much as if I took my time with everything. So I thought adding a little bit of timer for every character drawn today, because I'm going to be drawing a lot, it helps me stay on track and hopefully a better video for you guys. So for Jack Jack, I'm going to give myself, because he's right in the front and he's going to be drawn bigger, I'm going to give myself 30 minutes. Jack Jack, probably the most powerful out of all of the Parr family, with 17 different powers as described by Mr. Incredible, and here are some of them. Demon Flame Baby, Full Metal Baby, Hobgoblin Flame Baby, he has laser eyes, floating teleportation, interdimensional wormhole, creation and travel. That's pretty crazy. Walking through matter, telekinesis, piece metal shapeshifting, rocket propulsion, sneezes, duplication or cloning himself, rapid expansion, Superman, eat your heart out. Jack Jack is also a nickname that director Brad Bird has for one of his sons. Jack Jack's voice in both movies is the voice of supervising animator Tony Fusile's son, Eli. Now, Eli, at the time of Incredibles 2, was 16 years old. But back when he was a baby, they used to follow him around the house with a boom mic for an hour to record all the voices needed for Jack Jack. Now, Jack Jack has this goo power where he turns into a sticky, gummy, honey-like substance. It was something the animators wanted to include in the first film way back in 2004, but the technology just wasn't there yet. All in all, drawing Jack Jack, 30 minutes was plenty of time. For the next one, for Edna Mode, which I was going to draw next, I didn't want that much time, so I dropped it down to 20 minutes. Edna Mode is actually based on a real person, a Disney studio costume designer, Edith Head. Director Brad Bird voiced the character Edna Mode. However, that was accidental. You see, he originally recorded a voice track for the character as a temporary track and tried to find another actress to take over, but had a hard time finding another actress to play the part. Lily Tomlin, who is a wonderful actress, was actually considered for the part of Edna Mode, but she turned it down when she heard Brad Bird's vocal performance saying, "What do you need me for? You got it already." So again, 20 minutes, plenty of time to draw Edna. So the next character I was going to do was Dash. So I also gave myself a 20-minute timer. At the beginning, I thought 20 minutes was plenty of time. So Dash in the first movie was voiced by Spencer Fox. Now, to make Dash have a realistic, out-of-breath voice, Brad Bird made Spencer Fox run laps around the studio before recording. Now, here's an interesting tidbit for us comic fans. Okay, in the German version of the film, Dashiell Parr, that's his real name, Dash's real name, Dashiell Parr's nickname, Dash, was changed to The Flash. Wrong franchise. Now, one of the side effects of Incredibles 2 coming out literally 14 years after the first Incredibles is that Spencer Fox, who voiced Dash, he got older, his voice got deeper, so he couldn't do the voice anymore. So Huck Milner, that's his name, Huck Milner, took over voicing Dash. So the problem with me drawing this particular Dash, I had a hard time coming up with the pose and getting the pose right. So 20 minutes was not enough. One of the few times I didn't make the deadline here, so I added an extra 5 minutes just to make sure I had him drawn the way I wanted him to. So again, another 20 minutes for Violet. I didn't think this would take that long. Violet was voiced by Sarah Vowell, who was a contributor to the Public Radio International program This American Life, who's not really a voice actor, but Brad Bird listened to her voice and thought her voice was perfect, even though she never acted before. So to convince her, Pixar animators animated one of Vowell's segments from This American Life and then sent it to her, and then she agreed. Now here's something interesting. When Vowell was recording her lines for the character, she never saw Violet with hair. She only saw Violet as a bald character, okay? Because making Violet's hair is a very time-consuming process in computer animation, and that wasn't done till the end of production. So Vowell only saw her character as bald. Speaking of Violet's hair, it's noticeably longer in The Incredibles 2. With the new hair program, animators were able to grow her hair longer so that it could cover her body more fully when she's in her shy state. So again, 20 minutes, plenty of time to draw Violet, so I thought for Elastigirl, I would add another 20 minutes. When designing Elastigirl, or Helen Parr, they based her style off of Mary Tyler Moore, Marilyn Monroe, and Audrey Hepburn, who are all strong, career-minded, and look fabulous all the time. Now you might not know this, but Elastigirl is actually the name of a DC Comics character, okay? The DC Comics has a character named Elastigirl, okay? So they kind of objected to The Incredibles using the name Elastigirl. So they actually made a deal and a compromise where in the movie they could use the name Elastigirl, but outside of the film, when it came to toys, promotional materials, she could only be known as Mrs. Incredible. So again, 20 minutes, plenty of time to draw Mrs. Incredible. Am I allowed to call her Elastigirl here? For Frozone, I wanted to add Frozone in this because I love the character. Again, I made it 20 minutes. So one of my favorite actors of all time, Samuel L. Jackson, was cast as the voice of Frozone because Brad Bird wanted the character to have the coolest voice. Great choice. When Frozone starts speed skating, his moves are modeled after Olympic gold medalist Shawnee Davis. Now, Davis jokingly remarked in a Dutch program that he was really upset because he didn't get any type of money for it. He goes, "Yeah, it's me. Who else swings his arms like that?" The first Incredibles was Samuel L. Jackson's first animated film. Later, he continued voicing Frozone in the sequel and went to voice many animated characters. He was in Astro Boy, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Turbo, and in Blazing Samurai. Everyone loves Frozone's wife, Honey, in the first Incredibles, but we never see her, we just heard her voice. Now, in Incredibles 2, they were actually going to make an appearance of Honey, but creator Brad Bird explained they didn't end up using Honey because she's funnier as a voice. So again, 20 minutes, perfectly enough time to draw Frozone, and had a fun time drawing him. Now, finally, let's draw Mr. Incredible. This time, I'm going to give myself 30 minutes. Bob Parr first appeared on the cover of a comic book a boy was reading in the waiting room near the end of Finding Nemo. Okay, little Easter egg, before actually making his official debut the year afterwards. Craig T. Nelson, the voice of Bob Parr, or Mr. Incredible, recorded his vocals over the span of 2 years. That's a long time. Mr. Incredible's non-superhero name was originally going to be Bob Smith. Very creative. So Mr. Incredible's secret identity name, which is Bob Parr, the name Parr is actually a play on par, meaning average. You know, on par, average, very average. It's better than Bob Smith. So the original title for The Incredibles was going to be The Invincibles, but I think Invincibles was taken already. Brad Bird got the idea for this movie in the early 1990s, basing the story on his own experiences trying to balance a career with family. I'm having trouble with that too. Brad Bird originally conceived this as a conventional cell animated film. Okay, so it's going to be 2D when he pitched it. And the cell animated sequences seen at the end credits are a representation of his original concept. So if you wanted to know what it looked like in 2D, just look at the end of credits. Now here's a fun fact, okay? Whenever movies are in production, usually they give it a code name or a production title. That way, people could talk about working on the film without actually naming the film by name, so that people won't know what film they're working on. Okay, I'll give you an example. When I was working in film, I worked on the Fantastic Four movie from 2015. The name of that movie, we called it Henry Street. So we would say to each other, hey, how's Henry Street coming along? Are you done this asset for Henry Street? Now the code name for The Incredibles was Tights. Okay, so they would talk around, hey, are you done that Tights sequence? By the way, shout out to my friend Mujalao. Follow her on Color Mooj on Instagram. She's actually the matte painting supervisor at Pixamundo, my old job, and one of my good friends. She reminded me that Fantastic Four, we called it Henry Street. So thank you, Mooj. So again, the sequel to The Incredibles came out like 14 years later from the first Incredibles. Why did it take so long? Well, Brad Bird had stated over the years that he would only do a sequel to The Incredibles if he could come up with a story that was just as good as or better than the first Incredibles. The idea of Bob being a stay-at-home dad while Helen became the breadwinner was there from the beginning, but took several years for Brad Bird to come up with a perfect story around his idea to write. So there were some facts that you may or may not have known about The Incredibles. Hopefully you learned something, but one thing you do not know yet is what this piece looks like in full color. So here is the full color piece coming right at you. So here it is, the full color Incredibles piece drawn in a Marvel style. But before we go, I'm going to let you guys know the choices for the next Marvelized video. The first choice is Dora the Explorer. The second choice is She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. And the third choice is Avatar, The Last Airbender. Vote for your favorite. Head over to the community tab right now. If you are new here, please do subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you'll know when my next video will come out. Make sure you like this video, share this video with all your friends, and thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best. You are all my best friends. My name is James. I am the Box Office Artist. I'm here to say keep drawing. I'll see you all next time.